Hello, I am not going to begin this with my usual, this is your RPG archivist, because this is a note prior to the actual video. As you know, I like to post things late. I tend to do a lot of videos, and then I post it on the internet, and you get the idea. Well, things are a little out of order on YouTube. This one would have been up during October, I believe, but then I decided I was going to do a whole October thing. But since then, things have changed on a little story I tell. I am now finding Lamentations of the Flame Princess stuff at the Second and Charles. Um, you'll know what I'm talking about once I get to it in the actual video. This is going to serve a dual purpose. If all goes right, this will be tacked on to the beginning of the video that was actually um, filmed in September, August. It was a while back. And that will mean, if you are seeing this video, that will mean I have figured out how to use an editing program on my computer. That means you might be looking forward to seeing some better videos from me and not just me just slapping stuff together in one take. That will be nice. Now I am self-taught, so I'm not sure how well I'm going to do with this. So I'm just pretty much learning things as I go. But anyway, knock on wood, let's hope that this works out. If you're seeing it, yay me. If you're not, oh well, you're not going to know the difference. Thank you. Hello, this is your RPG archivist. I remember when I was talking about this book here, and I mentioned I might do a little review on A Red and Pleasant Land. I realized that would be an easy one for me to do because I fairly recently read it. It's been a few months, but I remember enough about it that I think I could give a fairly good review, at least an overview. So this is another read-only review. I will mention, though, I don't know if anybody cares, but apparently some people on the internet care. The guy who wrote it is in some sort of controversy. I tried to get into it. I was bored. It was like 2 pages of this guy's a jerk. Yeah, some lady saying this guy's a jerk. Maybe he is. But it was so domestic, and it had nothing to do with the game. So apparently these people expect me to not buy his books because he's a jerk? Boy, if that's the case, then we can't listen to Wagner, we can't read H.P. Lovecraft. Those two are kind of jerks too. But they were very influential. I don't know, I'm not putting him up on that kind of a pedestal, however. He is still just a guy. And, but I like the book. And this is the only other Lamentations of the Flame Princess book that I own so far. I've had a couple of opportunities to buy those books, but it's weird. Every time I see these books on a shelf, I go, yeah, I can't afford it right now. I come back and they're gone. In fact, I have a weird story about this one in particular. This book, I saw it Second and Charles, and I knew nothing of Lamentations of the Flame Princess, nothing. And I went, wow, this looks interesting. This looks like an RPG, because it was mixed in on an end cap with a whole bunch of stuff for Alice in Wonderland. Go figure. So, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I can't really afford it right now. I better read about this thing first. There was another end cap, same place. They had an end cap and it had a bunch of Lamentations of the Flame Princess books. I remember Vorheim, Complete City Book, being one of them. I remember Maze of the Blue Medusa being mixed in there. I swear I saw it. I know I'm not imagining it. So I look up Lamentations of the Flame Princess. I say, well, that's interesting. I think I could get into that. I go back, I can't find them. They're nowhere. Nowhere. I can't find them. And I ask these guys, I'm like, hey, I'm looking for these books. And they're like, what books? And they look them up on their computers and they say, these books were never here. Never? They were never at 2nd and Charles? They were on the end cap. I don't know. I don't know. It's some strange stuff has been going over there. There's a lot of music that I used to be able to find in their used music section. You don't find it anymore. It's like they're, I don't know, maybe they're Disney-fying the place. I don't know. Anyway, it's a strange story. Now, in order to get these books, you know what? I'm just going to talk about this for a second. Another weird story. I go to Barnes & Noble because I decide, you know what, I'm going to give Barnes & Noble another chance. I know, support your local game store, but for whatever reason, I decided I wanted to order this book from Barnes & Noble. Go to Barnes & Noble, I order it. It doesn't come in. I was like, okay, well, let's try again. Doesn't come in. All right, months have gone by. I'll give it another shot. Doesn't come in. So I'm like, all right, whatever. And lo and behold, what do I find? The book. 3 copies. On the shelf. Nobody called me to tell me that they ever came in. Nobody. Even when I put a message down, a message saying, contact me when these come in, leave a message on my phone. They didn't even leave a message on my phone. Really? But I saw them on the shelf, and I ended up buying a copy. And then later I bought another copy because they're kind of cheap. I mean, a hardback book, it's, what, $25? I think it was just $25. It's not a bad price. And eventually I got the 3rd copy. So Barnes & Noble wasn't out of money. But I'm not ordering from them again because I have so much trouble ordering from chain stores. They're unreliable. I used to work at one a long time ago, Books A Million. And there was this one stupid book, Water Dog, that everybody wanted, and people were coming in mad that they never got contacted about it. And I'm like, wait a minute, Water Dog? I think I've seen that. And I go to the shelf. There it is. They stocked it on the shelf. Didn't call anybody. Okay, I'm just ranting and raving now. I've been studying my lines. I think I've got Act 1 fairly confidently down. That's the hardest one, so it's going to be downhill from there on, but it's got me frustrated too. Because, so much work. Anyway, Red and Pleasant Land. Yeah, this is supposed to be a review, isn't it? Red and Pleasant Land. Let's talk about it. 6 minutes in, and we're actually going to talk about the book. I'm going to stand up because I can't get a good look at this. So what is it? It's a campaign setting, and it's, remember when Gygax did Dungeon Land and Land Beyond the Magic Mirror, 2 of my favorite modules from back in the day, because I had a thing for the Alice in Wonderland books. They were like the first big person book that I ever read, if you consider that a big person book. And I really enjoyed them. And Gygax did his little spin on them, made them super deadly. But they were fun. I actually got a chance to play through them. And this is a campaign setting that is similar, but not really. Alice in Wonderland with vampires is the best way I could describe it. Here is a map of a Voivodja. Voivodja? I think that's, yeah, Voivodja, I think is how you pronounce it. I could probably, getting this totally wrong. A lot of these places, like the Garden of Pests and Sunset Spires, those are just locations that are listed on the map, and there's absolutely no write-up for them. which basically leaves it up to the game master to say, hey, maybe I want to put something over there. Maybe that'll be neat to do. Now, Castle, Catch Tice, I can't read today. Catch Tice, Castle something. The Red Queen's domain. And Castle Pinari, they've got full write-ups, and that's in-game content, in my opinion. You go over there, those are going to be fun. You know, I think, do I want to read this? There is a section that just blows me away every time. Alright, I'm going to read it. No, I'm not going to read it. Yeah, I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to flip through the book, because if I read that, you guys are going to get bored, because I can't focus my camera and read at the same time. But this first section is really cool. I really like it. A lot of it's very Escher-esque. Places where gravity is just messed up. You could pop out of a door and find that you're like inches tall. Things like that. It's good stuff. The whole land. Oh, look. Here's a picturesque view of the gardens. The whole place is a giant grid. And it's got like themes of chess and cards all through it. They're in the midst of something called the Slow War. So the Red Queen and the Red King, they've both been at war for some time, so long that nobody even remembers what started the war. They're both vampires, and they're both pretty bad. Though if you ask me, I think the Red Queen's a little bit worse. She really likes her blood. You've got a couple of others. There's the Colorless Queen and the Pale King, who are vampires from other places that have come to visit and basically throw wrenches in the works. They have something called the Quiet Side, which is the other side of the Looking Glass. It's an interesting place to visit, but you won't live there. Not for long, anyway. Yeah, it's not a... At first, it looks like a good place to escape from the vampires, and it's really not. An interesting thing, this whole kingdom is just filled with vampires, and there aren't a lot of people to eat. They're all hiding in towns, inside thick forests, or hidden away underneath the ground, under gardens. It's a very strange place. If you remember how strange Alice in Wonderland is, this is every bit as weird. And you know what? Weird fantasy role-playing, folks. That's what it's all about. I have a feeling that once I start playing Lamentations of the Flame Princess, that I'm really going to like it. Look at the artwork. It's a certain art style this person has. The guy who wrote it is also the guy who did the art. Let me skip ahead. They have a new playable class called the Alice. It's an interesting class. I don't see how practical the Alice is. They're always human. They're not always female. If they're male, they're called the Alex. Pretty sure it's written in there somewhere. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I just thought. Anyway, she does have something called the exasperation table. When she gets exasperated, random stuff happens. I honestly don't get the class. I would love to play it just to see how it works mechanically. What else we got going on? Oh, look, Alice's leveling up table. I'm not going to go through all that. Beasts and people. This is some... You want weird? Yeah. These are some of the strangest vampires I've ever seen. That's a vampire. And their abilities and their weaknesses and their strengths are just a little bit tweaked and strange. Oh, there's the colorless queen. She's got kind of an underwater theme to her. She's all fishy. Let's see. Just flipping around, flipping around. Yeah, look at that. Oh, this is the beginning of the guests. So, guests are also like otherworldly beings that are summoned into the world. Apparently, there's maybe a ritual or something that will summon these guys, and they're all completely random, very strange. Kind of like the summoning. Oh, look, there's the Hatter. Kind of like the summoning spell in Lamentations, only, yeah, maybe not that, maybe not as dangerous. I don't know. Flippity flip. Ooh, the Jabberwocky. I've always found the Jabberwocky fascinating. I had a character in a LARP, in a changeling LARP, that spoke Jabberwocky. Never came up in game, but I always thought it was fun. He knew Jabberwocky, Pig Latin, Tolkien Dwarven, a couple other made-up languages. He knew all the made-up languages. Needless to say, this was the Dreaming and not the Lost. And I'm aware some of you guys have no idea what I'm talking about. That's okay. Let's flip ahead. Okay. This is the part where we're going into... This is the Red Queen's Castle. Cactus? Bah. Somebody in the comments, please tell me how to pronounce this. Focus! Focus! Forget it. So, would this kind of a campaign setting appeal to you? It'll appeal to me, at least for a while. I could see how it could get kind of difficult. I mean, it's such a strange place, kind of dangerous. Kind of. Well, it's a lot dangerous. I mean, the whole place is ruled by vampires. And it's not like, I don't know, it's very strange. Oh, look, here is some sample adventure, if you will. It's basically showing you how you would set up your little outdoor encounters. This is a simple garden called the Frozen Battle. Yeah, time works weird in certain places too. Here's a sample interior. I remember I mentioned the Escher-esque feel you get. And optional rules. Large battles, mounted combat, tables and resources. Oh, look, adventure hooks. Always use adventure hooks. Well, this was another long one, but that's my own fault. Player handouts. Somehow I'm supposed to photocopy these. Maybe they're on the internet. I don't know. I forget what that's for. So, Red and Pleasant Land. For Lamentations of the Flame Princess. Okay, I did that all in one take. I knew this was going to be an easy one. I just rambled a bit about things and stuff because I don't know. I'm just in that kind of mood tonight. Anyway, catch you next time.